Quickly talk to us about your expectations from the APC. It's not going to be a walk in the park. They have crossed the first hurdle. But will you be surprised to see anyone exit the party after this national convention? Do you think you witnessed a free and fair convention that can keep all the stakeholders together, even in the coming months?
Well, let's put it like this. The only other thing that would have happened if Asiwaju had not been declared winner or won would probably have been some of his lieutenants would have exited, maybe. But as we speak, the mere fact that Asiwaju won means that it's his responsibility. He's now like, within the context of a party, a president in waiting. So he has to go out of his way now to speak with all those contestants. He must get them. I wasn't too sure what to make of his speech, but it is for him to now pull them together, one after the other. Quite clearly, before you get to a primaries, you would have asked yourself, how and what do I decide my close kitchen cabinet would look like? A vice president, chief of staff? Do I have anybody in mind? If you do, then you now begin to say, okay, I've given out all these positions because I discussed them and we discussed them before the primaries. So some of the governors that were rooting for some other candidates, all of a sudden, they rooted for other candidates that lost. You ask yourself, what do we do for such governors? Not just governors. What do we do for all other ranking people? As you do know, get this, you get this. Some of them, minister. Some of them are specific. Minister of Defense, Minister of FCT, wherever the money is. Some of them are that, specific. No, it's Asiwaju's skill, sagacity, competence, and capacity to be able to solve and unravel political quandaries like this that would make him the kind of person that really should be able to decide what to give everybody down the line. Now remember that even all these years, he brought up a lot of people in Lagos. So many commissioners, so many people in the federal level. So he has to look for, but government is huge. Government is huge. Some of them, whatever you give them is just okay. Some are not even there to get the money, to get the position. Some of the work we did in 2015, I don't think anybody has paid me up till today. The work we did in 2019, let's not even talk about the work we did for APC in 2019. I don't know whether whatever they've given me, but that's not the idea of why I'm in politics. I'm not in politics for things like that. I expect that Asiwaju will build a culture where even if you don't get anything, keep working for the party. Even if you don't get anything, believe in Asiwaju. Even if you don't get anything, continue to hope that one day your time will come. Now, within that context, I expect that he will heal a lot of wounds. I expect him to be able to put a call through to Pastor Bakari. I expect him to ignore whatever all the others that he felt angry with, ignore whatever they've said. Already, I've seen Senator Ojikalu, congratulating him, and despite the fierce argument. In the whole of all of this context, there are southeast and northeast zones that have not produced a president for this country since 1966. How does Asiwaju address them, and what would he offer to them? Would he look for a space for like an SGF to give somebody from the southeast? Would he of course, his vice president will come from the north. And even before the governors began to rally around him, he had his own ideas. In fact, he has a director general that is from northeast. He has to be able to now sit back and say, these are the things I'm going to do so that you guys don't exit the party. If somebody comes with another offer from a place that might be looking good, they might leave. But I think as we speak now, everybody thought there was going to be crisis, APC was going to implode, APC was going to overwhelm, and all the times we've spoken with Babajide in the last 1 month, we were all very certain that the momentum was for particular candidates, in this case particularly Asiwaju. But was there enough resistance to stop the train from moving to destination? And we kept watching. Today, the answers are very clear. Very basic things. The gap with which he beat all the other contestants shows that, as I said, he's widely popular. He did a lot of work. He connected with a lot of people. And going forward, now you'll ask yourself, what does he need to do to win the presidency?
So
and let me just put it now to you, Nifesi, Babajide, and Ladi.
We wanted to ask you to Koguna, sir. We wanted to ask you to help us assess his chances, looking at the Kwankwaso challenge, looking at someone like Obi for Labour, looking at Atiku, for example. So we wanted you to assess his chances against these other gladiators.
Thank you very much, Jide. I'll just start by telling you that his DNA is connecting with people. They are similar with Kwankwaso in certain ways. They come from, remember their backgrounds. They're not silver spoon kids. Kwankwaso was not, was not born in GRA in Ikeja or in whatever. Same with Asiwaju. Same with Atiku. So they're all people who, they didn't have that kind of privileged background. So they normally connect with the grassroots. Now, one challenge that Asiwaju has overcome temporarily is religion. Two factors, religion and ethnicity, come to the fore. The eve of the election, people become emotive. Traditional rulers, opinion leaders begin to say, what will happen if you allow, this person, that person. So people begin to get to align with their religious desires. Then they get fermented by those who sit in a church and say, weapons fashioned against you shall not prosper. You should not allow this Gambari or whatever to come and take over this country. We're tired of. Likewise, some fanatics over will say, in 2019, what was a part of the issue? In 2011, I'll tell you one thing, Nifesi, Babajide, Ladi. Governorship election, I voted PDP because PDP was our party at that time in Sokoto, government house. Then I voted CPC, presidential election. So I didn't vote PDP, and PDP had a candidate called Jonathan. So you'll ask me, why would you vote PDP for governorship and vote CPC for president? The local momentum and the local vibes on ground proved to you that it was us against them. Remember that before that, there were antecedents. Some Ijaw leaders had said, there's no vacancy in government house, there's no vacancy in the presidency, and that infuriated local communities. So there was a backlash. Asiwaju must avoid making comments that will create that kind of backlash, that, it is ours already, overconfidence. He must avoid that. As I said, he must pick the key leaders he needs in all those places and begin to place them somewhere. As I said the other day, for me, I'm an ACPC person, I campaigned the day President Shagari welcomed President Buhari to his house on the 90th birthday. I was one of the 15 people in that room. I went on campaign. I was the leader of people that, I was Commissioner of Information, so I had to campaign for Buhari. Now, as we speak, if you look at the dynamics of what happened at that time and what is happening today, they're very similar. I thought that after the Secretary to Government of Federation was vacant at a particular time, I had hoped the president was going to look for somebody from the Southeast, Ogbonnaya Onu, or somebody, and make SGF. That would have eased a lot of tension in the Southeast. That vacant position after Babachir Lawal, put an Igbo man there. Asiwaju must learn to be able to plot his route along those lines to avoid people distrusting him and getting disinterested in his position. So he must begin from now to begin to create a platform that will unify everybody. Remember, the PDP has a candidate that they say is a unifier. Both of them are Lagos people. Atiku Abubakar was in customs. In fact, I met him in Murtala Muhammad Airport. I was on grade level 12. I went to cover an assignment, and he was the one in charge of the airport, 1984. The same with Asiwaju. When I was in the University of Lagos, 1980-81, I came across Asiwaju, Dele Alake and myself. So we've been together. So both of them are Lagos people. And they understand how Lagos is a microcosm of Nigeria. That people from Southeast and South-South are winning elections in Alimosho, the huge and largest local government in Nigeria. That there are Hausa people in Shangisha, that there are Yoruba people in Kafinsoli in Katsina, that there are people in Akitakos in Zamfara that come from Lagos, that some of the Hausa people and Kanuris that are in Lagos live around the Legushi and Onipangu and Sangros and Okesuna and Adeniji Adele, that Akpongbo, Alogbo have Hausa people living there. When you have that mentality, you will see Nigeria as your constituency. Asiwaju must see Nigeria as his constituency. I don't